What it is, what it is, what it is. I am hoping the audio is nice and clean. It's been a minute. Viewers, thanks for tuning in. It's Vader Games TV, another episode of Why Always Me. I think my lighting's kind of jacked up. Things feel a little too shiny. Um, guys, girls, thank you so much for all the support. The channel is doing well. It's growing slowly, but it's growing properly because it's growing with viewers and friends like yourselves. Um, I'm seeing the chat real quick. FIFA M, what it do? Let me put these on screen. What it is? It's starting already, guys. It's starting already. Big Morgan in the building. Oh my gosh, guys, we got a lot. We got a lot. Everything's great, man. Let me just let you know real quick, and apologies. It was a week of me pretty much being quiet on the channel. I went on holiday, went back to the mother island, spent time with the family. Great trip. Got some nice sun. You can see how it is. But I'm back. And while I was away, so much went down that I didn't get a chance to talk about. You see it here on the screen, everything that I'm going to run through. I'm going to do my best to go through that relatively quicker than I normally do in terms of a conversation, because I actually want to include the men dem. I want to include the men that have supported the channel, that have allowed me to be on their channel, to also have the conversation with you guys. So that's going to be a special treat. I've got to make sure I send out that invite as I go through this. But first things first, my peoples come first. If you're new to the channel, if you're not new to the channel, share it amongst your friends, like, subscribe. And if you're watching this on the replay, hit me up with a comment. I respond to every comment. And I appreciate the interaction and any feedback. That's how it's going to move. So without any further delay, you know what we got to do. Let's run it. Okay. Now, so much to do. And apologies if I don't get the comments right away, because I want to talk and I want to interact as well. But let me just say this. While away on holiday at JA, so much went down, right? Transfer rumors, transfer confirmations, as well as rival clubs and some of their signings and what went down. I'm going to go through all of that. But the pressing thing, the thing that I got to deal with right now, is how Manchester City has been moving during this transfer window. Okay, I have to talk about it. City. We've done this. We've all gone through it. We've talked about Haaland and Alvarez coming into the mix, right? But City is now, as the club has matured, has the business has been so sound, as the academy and developments have happened among the younger ranks and players, City has bought talent, They're now saying bye to talent at the door, and they're also selling or loaning talent, which is incredible. It's incredible. It's something that this summer, it's something that I have not witnessed. It is new to me. It is new to me. So let me put some of these comments up on screen too as we go through it. FIFA goes, Sterling could have been unreal, but decided to go to a rival. He'll flop, like I've said. You're getting a little ahead. You're getting a little ahead of the convo, but I know many fans that I know many fans that have that similar belief and perspective. Big Morgan, batteries charged. Big Morgan, 100%, 100%. I know it's probably not doing justice, but I got out there, ate some good food, some good food. Like, there's some foods that just connect with you, like genetically, family wise, just how you were raised on it. Like, oh, the food was so good, and I made sure that I was eating proper proportions too. I wasn't overdoing it. It wasn't a vacay where I was trying to put on weight. It was a vacay where I was trying to shred. I was trying to shred. Um, oh my gosh, watch him not miss sitters at Chelsea. I'm telling you, guys, big Morgan's on it. FIFA's on it. Martin, good looking out. Good evening, my guy. Thank you. Afternoon. It's all good. It's all good. I actually comment over Twitter with UK timing because that makes more sense. Most people that actually interact and talk amongst with what I do right now is actually over in the UK. So I love it. And again, conversate amongst yourselves. But I have to say this. I have to say this. The way City is moving with regards to how it's bought incoming talent to strengthen the squad, how it's also saying bye to players that have been at Manchester City for a while and have contributed to the titles and cups that we've won and seasons that we've had. And then also the selling of developed talent as well as, first team talent that we've had. But the way we're selling and loaning players, fantastic business all across the board. And I have to point this out because of the news today. And again, all rumors, nothing confirmed. But there's been a lot of speculation with Sterling and his exit from Manchester City, and the reasons why not, why it makes sense, why City would possibly be moving on, and whatnot. Now, I'll say this, and this is my perspective. This is why always me. I'm talking from my point of view. Sterling has been fantastic for the club, and like all players at the club, has had some mishaps, have had some errors. But in terms of the contribution to our winning ways, you can't dismiss it. You can't negate it. Okay. So until it's confirmed, I'm not going to do a proper "see ya, thank you for everything you've done" type message or video right now. But I do want to say that as a player, knowing that your career is finite, as a club, managing talent, not able to keep talent throughout their entire career, this was inevitable, right? The same way I have that banner up there, City buy, and sell. That happens. That's a cycle. That's the football life cycle, right? I've talked about this on a previous stream. Players come, players go. And when it is time for Sterling to go, it is going to be because he is, and like most players, managing a career, managing a football career to get the most out of the career that he possibly can. And that is financially as well as success on the pitch, right? I am not faulting Sterling 100% for making that move from Liverpool to City. Who could, honestly, who could? Who could fault Sterling? Even Liverpool fans, if you go back to the time of when Sterling was over there and him making the decision to go, it made sense. It made sense why he would go to City, seeing the project, seeing what was all lined up. And this was before Pep. Sterling saw what Manchester City was all about. He made the move over to City before Pep. You got to recognize that. Talent in him was recognized early. I believe the only players remaining at City currently, and may change in the future, is Kevin De Bruyne and Sterling. Those are the only two players pre-Pep era, and he's made it through countless, countless opportunities or chances to actually be transferred or moved out or shipped out. Pep has had him in the system. Pep has often put him first name on the sheet. I think from a system standpoint, we've seen the decline in terms of his performance, and why the rationale for many fans is we'll see you, time to go. I think he works fantastic with a nine, with a striker. I think we've seen the best of him at that point with Aguero. We saw some magic with him and Sane. But from a business standpoint, as I mentioned, as a footballer, you're trying to get the most you can within your career. And for him, he's asking for more than what he's currently getting. He, as I understand it, is being paid as much as Grealish. And Grealish is only his second year at Manchester City. And it also obviously coming in to a established Sterling, a new Jack Grealish, they were on the even weekly salary. De Bruyne obviously at the top. All reports coming out is that Sterling wanted to get KDB money. Don't quite agree with that, but I would agree that he deserves more money than Grealish. I would agree that as a footballer, you're going to look at things and you're going to be like, I'm going to deserve more. What I was doing prior to Grealish getting here, I believe I deserve more. Even with Grealish here and what his output is, I believe I deserve more. So, business standpoint, I get all of that. He's making that business decision. Where he goes, we will have to see. The rumors are heavy that he is going to Chelsea. So many comments on the screen, and you know what? I want to share this with you viewers to tune in because obviously you'll miss it. I'm not sure if you would catch this on the broadcast watching it back. So I just want to hurry this up and share it with you guys. Chelsea don't have a striker, but the window's so early. And like I mentioned, the topics here, Chelsea and United are window shoppers right now. They don't know what to do. I don't even think they know how much they have to spend. They're just window shopping right now. And if you know the 50 Cent song, it applies perfectly to these two clubs. New seat, yeah, it's going to be huge. I love the comments that are happening while the show's going on. And just so you know, I'm going to take a break to actually send the invite out to Martin and hopefully Gunnalorian and Patrick if they're available to come in and comment. Exactly. Like the stream, my peoples. Thank you. First things first, my peoples come first. My peoples are Manchester City as well as rival fans, football fans, all in all. Let's have the conversation. Hit that follow button, hit that like button. You know what it does. Sterling just only wants one thing: 3 times repeat, playtime, playtime, playtime. 100%. As a footballer, that's what you want. That's how you express yourself. That's where you want to be. You want to be on the pitch. I understand how difficult it's going to be with the amazing talent that's coming into Manchester City. I understand how he's possibly looking at not quite getting that time. And that is actually where I disagree with Sterling. That's where I disagree. If he was able to, again, get the wage number that he wants, he's able to get the wage number that he wants, I don't care about guaranteed playtime because I am going to compete for that playtime. That's how I see it. Big ups for the comments. So again, the way Manchester City are moving, Sterling and the movement here with him moving on, and I have to point this out. I've recognized that there's no perfect player. And there's going to be moments within a season, within a career that you're going to just be like, oh, remember that moment? Remember that open net that he missed, or remember him tripping up on a pass? But you can do that with every player. You can look, damn, why didn't Jesus square it? Or, oh, man, Aguero trying to do a Palenka on a PK. You can hold all of those things over players 100%, right? Players aren't going to be perfect throughout their career. Players being killed for it is where I draw the line, and I just have a very different perspective, having been an athlete and knowing that you're really only as good as your next competition. You're really only judged to be tough, great, um, proven to be relentless, courageous is when you get up after every mistake to try and better yourself or try and compete. Like that at its nature is what a competitor is. Like you're gonna mess up, but it's whether you get back up and compete again, right? And for me, seeing Sterling and what he's done, all players having messed up and then getting back into it, that's how I judge them. For example, some of the English players that missed the penalty shots in the Euros, right? Them getting back, competing within the season, kind of shaking that off, but competing again. That's how I judge players. That's how I judge the mentality. That's how I judge their competitiveness. So that's really how I look at Sterling, because every player is going to have their miss up. What I'm going to miss when it is confirmed and he's moving on, and I'm going to move on to topics. But what I'm going to miss about Sterling, which doesn't get charted in any of these stats, when Sterling's in the opposing 18 and he's dancing, you know, he has that weird stance with his hand, and he's dancing with that ball, and no player wants to stick a foot out because of risk of causing a penalty. For as many penalties that Sterling has won for us, and for as many penalties that Sterling has properly won for us and did not get the call for, all of us City fans know this. That's a damn penalty, ref, and they wouldn't give it. For as many of those opportunities that he's done for us that don't get collected in any stat sheet, that's now out the door. That's now gone. Those opportunities are now gone for the cyborg Holland that could have just slotted those away for next season when Sterling does go, if he does go. I'm going to miss those. I'm going to miss his change of pace. I'm going to miss his movement. There's just some things that he does that torments the opposition, and I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to miss that. I'm not going to say goodbye to Sterling and only remember his faults or remember his misses. I'm going to remember the player that gave us some big times. There's some compilations that are obviously going to come out. This generation of fans, I love it. I love the internet. I love the socials. Creative people, way more creative than myself, are putting together video comps to music and things of that nature. Look at some of those comps and see if they actually include the score, the time of the game. Sterling is often the first to score for City, or the leading goal for City. Check those out, man. He's been integral, and he should not only be remembered for these last 2 seasons without a striker. Yes, his dip in form, but he should remember it for his entire career at City. So that's where I'm going to go at. Let me get to these comments real quick as well. I definitely should do that, and apologies. Apologies, guys. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I missed some. Okay, here we go. Oh, wait. No, even before that. Dang, my bad, guys. United is not even playing Champions League. They're in the mud. They are in the mud. We got to talk about that. They are dusted. KDB is a 10 baiter. Is he only a 10? Does the scoring need to change? KDB is going to be a problem next season. 100% Big Morgan. I don't do fantasy. I don't do fantasy football because, and even up here in North America, I couldn't do fantasy North America and football because I can't pick rival players. I can't do that. I can't root for a rival player to have a good game, especially when they're playing against my team in real life. I can't. My brain doesn't work that way. I have, mind you, I have bad mind for every opposing player. It's just how it is. So fantasy football doesn't work for me. Thank you, Yomiko. I think you're new to the channel. I appreciate the comment. When Sterling is given game time, he rarely performs at a good enough level to keep his place in the squad. Way too inconsistent. That's a tough one. I would beg to disagree. I would beg to disagree throughout his career on that one. CR7 is leaving, and we're going to talk about that. Got some laugh emojis here. CR7 dusted. Wanted an increase in salary when his performance are not good enough. Buy and come in Cole Palmer. You do. It is a business. Players have to move on. New players need to come in. The challenge with the salary part in the business of football is because there's also moments where you exceed what you are getting, right? So it is a balance. I think, sir, I'll admit with you, Sterling did have a dip in form, and he had a dip in form team wise. But and I don't nerd out, Alan. I don't nerd out, viewers. I don't nerd out to go back and see statistically how players are performing via numbers, right? Like to go back and say how were Bernardo Silva's, how was KDB, how was Stones, how was Walker, how was Cancelo over the last 3 years, right? Like I don't quite do it that way, but I hear what you're saying. If CR leaves Man United, and wants UCL, he may join 100%. We might see Sterling, we might see CR7. Rumor is we might see Neymar, but we'll save that for another time. R2D2, a fantastic name. Sterling is useless. You're killing me. I don't know about that. I think he's going to be a problem. All right, let me go to the next topic real quick, and I'm going to hit up the rest of the comments as well. Jesus, depending on how you want to pronounce it, is now at Arsenal. And I'll be honest with you, the rumors with Jesus leaving Manchester City was so calm, relaxing, peaceful, encouraging, supportive, versus the same rumors or speculation with regards to Sterling. That's actually going to be another topic for another show, because the energy for Jesus and the energy for Sterling, very, very different. Very, very different. But Jesus is now at Arsenal. And this is where I want to talk about the second topic here. Second topic being City arming its ops. City rumored to have Sterling go to Chelsea, possibly Nathan Ake go to Chelsea. We've got Jesus already at Arsenal. Possible, I don't think it's happening. Business doesn't make sense. But Bernardo Silva going to Barcelona. Earlier in the transfer window, Ivan Zinchenko was possibly leaving. And then I don't even want to get into some of our younger players that didn't get first team play, but are moving on to our opposition. City's actually giving them some good players, some quality impact players. And it leads me to the question, and this is a question I had when I was on holiday. I was like, has Manchester City reached a level where they know even getting rid of our impact players isn't a threat? Like I don't want to call it arrogance. But is there a level of confidence now, based off of how the team looks, based off of how the system is, based off of, I guess, targeted talent that's already lined up to come into Manchester City? Has Manchester City reached a point where it's like, no, we can give you that weapon. It won't be enough. We can give you that weapon. It won't be enough. Like, has Manchester City reached that point? Because that's the way this transfer window looks to me. The way we're so willing to, again, smart business is one thing, I get it. But for a player like Sterling and Jesus to go to in league opposition, like what does that say? And that's something I really want. I'm gonna pose to you, Martin, and we're gonna have that convo when I send you the link. I definitely want to have that conversation because things are moving very different, and we see the other topics on the screen. I'm gonna do my best. I always try to do my best to keep this combo within 45 to an hour. I think because I've been gone so long, and if you guys are willing, if you guys are able, I would love for you guys to remain here. Please hit that follow button. Continue to comment. Always appreciate it. But I'll have this combo as long as you can. So bear with me for a second as I get these invites together and I send them through. And I got to remember how to do this. What do I? Oh yeah, there we go. It's amazing when you're away for a bit and then you forget. But yeah, the way Manchester City are handling this transfer window, I'm like, this is next level confidence that's going on here. And if you can only if you can only participate in voice, that's no problem. Um, that works. That works for me. So let me get to these. Let me get to these comments real quick. And this is where I love the interaction, and I promise you, I will get better at it. I will get better at posting these comments as we go. And let me know if you think that every comment should be posted on screen, because maybe actually I could do something to prevent that, or prevent me having to um, put that up back and forth. But let me go back to these comments real quick. Some of them are still FIFA. R2, he is now. R2, he is now. Oh, I think this in reference to Sterling no longer being important or valuable. Sterling is not good penalty kick, but he is unstoppable. Trust me. Sterling's a different problem. Sterling is a unique player. Honestly, you can't look at the EPL and say he is similar to so and so. He's 100% unique. Um, he does have no left foot. Many players are one-footed though. I, again, it's and I saw this question. I should have posed this, but you know what? No, I'm gonna hold this question off until it is official. I'm going to pay Sterling his proper respects and not talk about him like he's left already. You guys in the comments are moving crazy talking how Sterling is already out the window. All right. And if he is out the window, pay him his flowers. Pay him his flowers. Who's going to Etihad on Sunday? Man, you local fans are rubbing in. You're rubbing it in going to the Etihad on Sunday. Take some pics, man. Take some pics, and we got to share those. Love it. I love the real close up, not photo quality, professional photo pics. I love the authentic, organic from the real fans. Cash leagues in the FPL can be massive. Who? Oh wait, what did I miss here? I only do real football. KDB is a 10 in real life, not fantasy. Big Morgan, yes. Fantasy football is different, man. I don't know how they roll with that. Zarif, hopefully I'm not butchering your name. Hey man, you confident with a Sterling replacement? That's my thing. Z, that's my thing. I don't think that there will be a Sterling replacement. I think based off of how our players are being promoted up, we're not going out to replace them. We're not going to get someone externally to replace Sterling. It is going to be a Cole Palmer to obviously that's come through our academy, got some first team play. He's going to be there to play on that right hand side. We are actually going to be losing, I think, a lot of pace, but we'll see how that works from a technical standpoint. And I've said this in a tweet before. When we played Crystal Palace in particular, there's some moments in some matchups, some games where you need to play with a level of physicality and just a level of technical athleticism that can't just be done with with technique. Sometimes technique is not enough because you got to get in there with your shoulders and your elbows and play a physical game. I'm going to before I put up the next comment. Fantastic channel. The Mancunian Way is a fantastic channel. Fantastic host in Martin. If you've interacted with him, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you haven't, let me tell you, excellent knowledge, excellent Manchester City knowledge, right? Hardcore fan. And if I heard correctly, I believe he's had family maybe as close as I think his father, that's played on the reserve for Manchester City in back in the day. So the man knows and bleeds Manchester City blue. He has a fantastic channel. I encourage all of you to go sub and support that channel, as well as check him out on Twitter, the Mancunian, because there's some great conversations within the spaces that he, myself, Gundalorian, True City Fan often have, Adam, and G Certified, many. So definitely check that out, as well as some of the comments here that are supporting the channel. So without any further ado, I'm going to put my man in the mix. I think he's joining us via voice. Martin, how is it going, my friend?
Good evening. Can you hear me okay?
I hear you loud and clear. Fantastic.
Good man. I
Fantastic.
don't know what to say after that intro.
Nothing to be said, man. I had to do you right in terms of letting the people know. And I want to say thank you for chiming in. I normally do this show via talking into the camera, but to be able to interact, and especially with the recent news and coming back and not being in the mix for a bit, it's great to kind of have the conversation. So how you been?
Good. Busy. Very, very busy. Busy with family and everything else. But yeah, had a nice rest. And
Nice.
batteries recharged and trying to keep up with all the fire sale stuff that's been going on.
100%. City has not been lazy in this transfer window at all, and it obviously kicked off with a bang with Holland and Alvarez, and it hasn't slowed down with some of the players that are actually going out. But most recently with Sterling, and what's obviously the most recent thing that I've heard, and I've just put this on screen, is that Sterling has agreed to personal terms with Chelsea. How does that news hit you? Where do you kind of sit with that?
I'm in the middle, and anyone who's heard me knows I've been very critical of Raz because I've always seen him as world class. I've always seen him as potentially getting to the top, could be one of the best. And when you see that, you can see a bit more in someone, and you want to push them, and you think, come on, just give me that extra 20%. I know you've got it, and I don't. And be honest with you, him going for me is sad because I know a lot of fans have said he misses one-on-ones. Listen, Sergio Aguero did a Panenka at a penalty and missed it. So, but I didn't hear everyone going mad at him. But
Yeah.
Razzy's getting all the hate at the moment, which is fine. I get it. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. But for me, I do think. I mean, I had a look at something the other day. I mentioned this on a space. Maybe you can just give me a couple of minutes, Vader, mate.
Yeah.
And I worked it out. I thought, I'm going to have a look. And now this includes all the subs and the young lads and everything else. We used 26 players last year. Now, that was with Adoza, with Palmer, with McAtee, with Torres, and with somebody else who I won't mention. With the players that have gone and the players that have come in, our squad's now down to about 18, 19 players. So at the moment, we've got an 11 plus a bench. The way I'm viewing it is, any kind of injuries, we're screwed.
Yeah.
That's the way
depth,
I'm viewing it at the moment.
I'm agreeing with you. And the only thing that has me obviously I'm not hitting any panic buttons now is because we still the transfer window still doesn't end until September 1st. I understand, I believe. So there's still a lot of time to go. But I agree. I I'm never gonna forget last season for the for how tense it was due to some of the bodies that dropped. And it wasn't because of inability. It was really just because injuries crept up and it was such a fierce battle, especially for that 4 or 5 week span where we were dealing with Champions League, FA Cup, and the league with just how the games were. And looking ahead at next season, and again, transfer window's not closed, maybe getting ahead of myself, but all signs show that it's going to be a very congested
Yes.
schedule with the Champions League. So I'm in agreement with you. I'm like, I want more depth. I want more depth because you know something's going to come up, and the quality that we have amongst our squad, we know that they're going to be playing international football. It's not like we have players that won't be traveling for international play.
No. And the thing with Sterling is he still contributed 17 goals, and I think it was around 8 or 9 assists last season, which for someone who has, let's be honest, over the last 3 or 4 seasons, his appearances have sort of gone, they have reduced. Not by much, but they have reduced.
Mm-hmm.
So to replace 17, now I've heard it all with Alvarez and with Palmer. Cole Palmer excites me, really, really does. But for me, Cole Palmer will only probably get 10 games. Anyone who's watched Pep does not just throw a youngster in and go, right, you're now my main guy on the right-hand side. It took
Right.
Foden 4 years to get into this team. 4 years of in and out, in and out. And this is Phil Foden, who scored a winner at home against Tottenham to help us win the league.
Yeah.
So,
And
and then you didn't see him again for
yeah.
ages.
And this was also Phil Foden, who was only getting some playing time when we were playing the early cup rounds
Exactly.
before coming
So,
through. So whether Pep is going to expedite, no, what's the word I'm looking for? Whether he's going to increase how he actually brings those players along, expedite.
yeah.
If he's going to do that, we'll have to wait and see. Before you share some more, I want to do this, and viewers, thank you for all the support. Hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button, comment, and please share. The sharing is tremendous. It's a humble channel. I'm 15 away from getting to the century mark, which would be amazing for me. Thank you so much. So do your part. This next person that I'm going to add to this panel, he is known as the true City fan because he is a true City fan. The way he lives and breathes the football of Manchester City is amazing. I often go to him for my news, as well as I go to Martin and the Mancunian Way, as well as I go to Gundalorian. But True City Fan is amazing. Go to his channel, help him if he hasn't already get to 1,000 subscribers. But he's the next person I'm bringing onto the panel. My guy, True City Fan, his alias, his street name, Patrick. But how you doing, my guy?
I'm good, man. What an intro. What an intro. It reminds me of those boxes back in the days. You know, when you watch boxing in the Michael Tyson days, Holyfield days, they used to introduce you, like even talk about what you've done in high school. Well, fair play to you, man. How you doing, Martin? I don't know about who's the other guy. How you doing, Martin?
Yeah, not bad, Patrick. How are you?
I'm good. Is it just Martin here?
Yeah, so far I sent the invite to
Oh,
Gundle, but
okay, great. Okay,
he hasn't
great.
reached
Yeah,
yet.
I was just looking because you've got a double screen, so I thought it was Martin and somebody else. That's why. And I notice I'm also in double screen right now.
Yeah,
So
you're anchoring. Yeah. It's a little special effect
no,
I'm trying to
no,
mess with.
no. Thanks, man. Thanks for calling me on. Thanks for calling me on. I was just doing a voice podcast with some Irish lads who've started a podcast in Ireland. So they wanted me there. So we're doing a Zoom podcast. So anyway, I was listening to Martin, and let me just jump on what Martin said. Martin has actually said the truth because, as you know yourself, you and Martin both know me that I'm a youth merchant. I love the youth team, but my wishes haven't come true every time I try to get a kid promoted or say this kid has potential. So Pep, I think by now we've learned that he will never just throw a kid in. Maybe it's a good thing. He's going to always get the kid first to play a few minutes. So yeah, Martin is right about Palmer. Maybe Palmer, because I saw there was a bit of favor. He was a bit of favored by Pep. Maybe he will have more game time, but I don't think it'll go to the extreme where we'll see Palmer being the first one on the sheet majority of the time. I think you'll see him maybe in a few other games, but not always. Anyway, that's why I just wanted to put my 2 cents in.
Oh no, I hear that. I hear that. The depth thing is going to be an interesting one. What we were also talking about earlier is, and I don't know if I'm wilding. And actually, I threw this at you. I think is Manchester City at the point. Oh, I got some feedback. Your microphone. Okay, it stopped ringing. But the way Manchester City is allowing talent to go and remain in league had me like, should I gain extra confidence because the club is moving this way? Because they're not worried about a Jesus in the hands of Arsenal and Arteta, with a potential Sterling in the hands of Thomas Tuchel at Chelsea. Like, should we be gaining extra confidence to be like, they don't even worry about that? Our squads must be dangerous because of how comfortable it seems that they're letting the talent go. What do you think of that, Patrick?
All I can say is, and this is to my fellow City fans, right? I don't know if I'm the one who feels this way. In life, right? You never give away something you know it's gonna hurt you that much. I know this is just me. I think you City as a team are not they're not that blind. I think they know that okay, so and so is potential, but they know we've got something better that has come in. So would you give away a weapon that's going to hurt you that much? I'm not trying to jinx it. Yes, maybe by some surprise we'll find Raheem scoring a hat trick against us or Jesus. But I mean, like, you would never. I'm pretty sure you would never see City say De Bruyne go to Chelsea. I think you would never see that, and let's be 100%. Even if De Bruyne had 1 year, they were going to make sure De Bruyne leaves this country. He doesn't stay in this country. If let's talk about Bernardo Silva, I don't think you'd ever see Bernardo Silva. I think that Bernardo Silva to Arsenal thing was there, but I think they never wanted him to go to Arsenal. City were blocking it, even though they wanted him so much. So all I'm trying to say is, I'm not trying to say Raheem is bad or Jesus is bad, but I think we've seen throughout the years they have reached where they can take us. I think those two guys in our team have got to as far as they can. I seriously don't think, this is just me. Maybe I'll get it wrong, Martin. I don't know if you're going to agree with me. I don't see any other level of Raheem. Does that make sense? I don't think that we'll see him go over that level he had that season of 30 goals plus. I think we will not see Raheem all of a sudden like Messi, 91 goals. I don't think we'll see that. I'm not trying to be a hater, but I'm just trying to say I don't see there's another level. I think he's going to, he might do that season again, but I don't think we'll be able to say, oh my God, Raheem has evolved to another ceiling. I don't think we will see any of that. That's just me.
Martin, do you want to tackle that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very surprised he's going to Chelsea. I mean, I'm also surprised, going back to the comment you made, I think I'm more surprised with selling to Chelsea. The Jesus to Arsenal, again, I've no issue with that. I wish Jesus or Jesus, whatever you want to call him, Gabby, all the best. And I hope he smashes it.
Martin, I also want to say, isn't it amazing how it went from we poaching from Arsenal to now it's now flipped around?
Yeah, same with Chelsea. Yeah. You know, everyone hates Manchester City, but everyone now wants to be Manchester City. It's really weird, that one, but you know, just carry on. Well, let them carry on with their own crap and everything else that they want to talk. If Liverpool and Chelsea, for me, are our two biggest rivals in this league.
Yeah, they are, yeah.
Do not underestimate Chelsea. Chelsea, on their day, can beat anyone, and on their day, can pose a threat in this league. So, in a way, to sell Sterling to Chelsea, that's the shock. I'm not so shocked about him leaving because he had only 1 year left. And listen, go back a couple of years. There were stories and rumours of Sterling and Pep having a falling out. And if you remember, we went down to Fulham away, and Sterling wasn't even anywhere near the squad because apparently he went in making demands to Pep in the office then. There's only ever one winner when you make any kind of a demand to Pep Guardiola.
Yeah.
That's where, Pep comes from the school of Ferguson. I am in charge, top to bottom. You will not tell me.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite simple. So, and the thing is, we've said also for how many years? 2 years that Sterling without a striker, he struggled. So we bring in probably the best striker in Europe right now, maybe the world, and Sterling goes and puts himself right back in the same position he's just left.
Yeah.
By going to Chelsea with no target man.
Yeah.
Martin, I think it's pride and ego. I think it's sort of like, you know what? I can go to Chelsea. I think you're right. I think that rumor of the fight was there because right now, this move seems like right now what I'm hearing is it's true that he's even getting 300K. Some people are saying over 300. Some people are saying he's still getting that 300K. He was getting a City. Some people are saying over. But if I find out, Martin, that he's still getting 300K, we will prove that this is sort of, you know what? You want give me game time, I will walk. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's one of those situations.
You can't demand game time in a Pep team. There's about 2 or 3 players that can even have that sort of thing, and even De Bruyne gets rested.
Yeah, there's no player that can demand it, and I'm in total agreement with that. Where I always have the football player club hat on because it's a business at the end of the day. I think Sterling obviously he's pushing to get the best contract he possibly can. That's one. 2, he's also realizing the contract that I get, I'm obviously going to have add-ons or bonuses that I'm going to want to try and acquire. The more I play, the better it is. That isn't a guarantee at Manchester City. So if he's going to look for the opportunity, to Patrick's point, if he's looking to go to Chelsea, maybe for the same money, but he's getting more playing time, that's a win in his case. It's almost like a trade-off. Oh, yeah, maybe I'll remain at City for less of a guaranteed playing time, but my salary's increased. So it's a trade-off. If he goes to Chelsea, I think he might take the same money, but he's getting more playing time. There is ego. Every player is playing with ego 100%. But where I want to challenge Patrick on is when he says to expect Sterling to exceed his peak season of 30-plus goal contribution. That should not be the expectation. It shouldn't be an expectation of him exceeding his best season. But what we want is him closest to what he's done for us as a player with what am I hearing? What he's done for us in previous years, especially alongside Aguero at the time, and in this case it would be a Haaland or possibly Alvarez in the center. I think that's what we want. I'm okay with the move. As a fan, I'm naturally going to be the what if he had stayed because of what he's done. But I also want to properly give him his send-off because I'm seeing some of our fans having different energy for Sterling, and I'm going to have to overcompensate to give him the flowers that he deserves. I want to shout out this comment as we were talking about depth, Martin, because I know you may not be able to see it. But Ali Season says, F Ali Season says, Ederson, Orengo, Cucurella, Zinchenko, Laporte, Ake, Diaz, Stones, Walker, Cancelo, Rodri, Phillips, Grealish, Gundogan, KDB, Bernardo Silva, Foden, Palmer, McAtee, Mahrez, Gnabry, Haaland, and Alvarez. The only thing Gnabry is
I was about to say we signed someone.
right. Gnabry's let's see. There's a lot of rumors there, but if the team remains as is just described by Ali, that is strong, and there is a lot that's going to be relied on for a McAtee and a Palmer with this upcoming season. So
I'm sorry to shoot that down, Vader, but and to ruin Ali's night, I do not like to ruin Ali's night because he's an absolute legend. Gnabry City have already shot down the Gnabry rumour.
Okay.
They shot that down 2 days ago. And the other thing is, we're not 100% sure Aki's on his way yet because of what Louis van Gaal said.
Yeah.
Which is what my worry was in the summer. I said on our channel in the summer, I said this was going to be a huge potential summer, especially with the World Cup. You had a lot of players, because what Pep did last year, he didn't play a lot. Let's be honest. Gabby only came into the team probably March, April time.
Mm-hmm.
He had like 6 months where he was out. Zinchenko only appeared at the end. So you've got 2 or 3 players that were basically cheerleaders for 6 months of the season.
Yeah.
So what you've got to remember is now Louis van Gaal's come out and said, to be in my World Cup team, you've got to be playing regular first team football. It's okay, Aki saying, I want to stay, I this, that, and the other. Now, but if you're Aki, do you want to stay 4th choice forever? Maybe not. I personally, if Chelsea want to bring 50 million to the table, then fair enough. And Aki's going to get first team football, fair play to Aki and Chelsea. But then we're going to have to go back in the market and get another centre back. Now, the other thing is I heard about De Ligt. De Ligt is not going to come and play 4th choice centre back.
Right. Yeah. We're not going to go into the market. Yeah, we're not going into the market to get a
top centre back.
Top centre back, first team centre back from any of those top teams to just come and again agree to compete and possibly get onto the first team. I know you can't read this because you're on the move, but Zarif HD says, "Hey Martin, been a big fan of your channel, and you and Andy were legends in that Man City Fan TV channel. So shout out, he knows you. In addition,
thank you very much. Much appreciated, mate.
Martin, that's where you were, isn't it? That's where you were. I think that's where I saw you. It's Man City Fan channel, isn't it? Oh, that's where. Oh, yeah. I've always wondered. It's like, where did I see him? I was a fan since day one. I followed. I'm
not a newbie to this. I'm not a newbie.
I know. I remember. Do you know? I used to also follow Blue Moon. You remember Blue Moon, where Extreme Company was? And I remember the day when Extreme Company made his channel, Veta. I was number 2 on his thing list, on his sub list. Yeah, because I followed him over. Then the day when he launched, I was at home. As soon as the bell went on, I was number 2. Then people started coming on. I remember he had 10 for a while. Then they kept on going. Then I remember I joined. Then the one Martin was in. Then I think Martin joined after. You didn't start there from the beginning, because from the beginning it's just 2 of them. Him and Dre, I think so. So yeah. Well, that's where I saw you from. I was wondering. Yeah.
So this is what I go into the comments. Go into the topics. And I'm not going to spend too much time on this one, guys, but Spurs. Levy injected 150 million. I don't know how they skirted around the rules to be able to inject money into the club, because it seems like when it's rumored that we're doing it, it's against the rules. But Conte is getting properly backed by Levy this summer, and I think they're maybe like 5 additions in. The big ones we gotta mention is Perisic and Basuma, and I think Richarlison is now there. So they're looking like a proper threat to compete in this top 3. Would you guys agree or disagree?
I'll let Patrick go first, because I'm sort of in the minority on this.
I don't think so. Spurs always be Spurs. I believe in that. I think injecting that 150, it's a bit too late. I think this money could have been injected throughout seasons. You don't expect people to just buy players one season. Didn't Arsenal inject 180 last season? What happened to them? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't mean injecting 150 or injecting money right away will help you, because the players are new, so they have to gel. This stuff has to be done throughout the season. They had to inject money a bit last season for him, buy him a certain player, then buy him more players this season. I don't know why people are hyping. I have seen a lot of hype it's once in a while where a team buys new players and they gel right away. It's once in a while it happens.
Yeah.
So I don't know. This whole talk of saying there will be trouble. Yes, there'll be trouble to us and Liverpool maybe, but there won't be trouble to the rest of the league because Spurs try to park the bus against a team that's parking the bus never works.
So the reason why I was asking, I'm gonna go to you, Martin, is that I think the players that they've picked up in the summer. So Perisic, they got Fraser Foster on a free from Southampton, Basuma from Brighton, we've all heard about that. Richarlison from Everton, we've heard about that. Tyrell Ashcroft from Reading, and then Josh Keeley, St. Patrick's Athletics. But the key ones, the big names, I think they've now strengthened their position to be in that top three. Again, I don't want to come across arrogant, but they've caused us problems last season. Whether they can cause the rest of the league problems to contend is a different thing.
Well, can I ask a question? I'll reverse the question back to you. You've just read that list out, Beta.
Mm-hmm.
Would you take any of them players to City or Liverpool?
No, but that's the mistake. That's the mistake because our quality is at a different level. But I'm saying,
but that's what I'm saying. But a lot of Spurs fans are saying we're going to challenge. Now, I think we have to look at their definition of a challenge. To be totally honest here,
they can challenge for the Carabao or the FA Cup.
Yeah. I think. I mean, let's be honest. The FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, pick out a name in a hat. Anyone can win them. Well, It's a cup competition. It's who gets the luck on the day. Injuries and referee decisions, all of that comes into cup competitions, and that does include the Champions League, by the way. Richarlison. He's a good player. Is he a championship winning player? No. Longley, I feel like he's like 45. He's been around that long. Okay. Perisic, is he? How old's Perisic? I feel like he's been around for ages. So they're not going out. You got to remember, to get to Liverpool and City's level, you are talking 90 plus points year in, year out on a consistent basis. You cannot lose probably more than 2 or 3 games maximum a season. Drawing games can lose you the league. Just go down to our friends down the M62 and ask them about drawing games, costing them titles. So, and the thing that Spurs are in between a rock and a hard place. They've brought in a top quality manager.
Yeah.
That will demand the title. That is what Conte will demand. Everywhere he goes, he wants the title. Inter Milan, Chelsea, everywhere he's wanted it.
Yeah, but I think
he's got a problem though. He's got 2 juggernauts in front of him that he will not be able to shift.
I know, but I think Conte, not that he's on a paradise situation, in a fantastic situation, but I think the hunger that Spurs fans have, right? When we speak of the hunger and the demands, they just want a title. If Conte delivers them the Carabao Cup, Spurs fans will parade. Spurs fans will be like, thank you. The banter's over. Like, that's all he needs to deliver. And I think the team that he's putting together, and he can keep the Spurs in top 3 because, again, they got 4th last year. Arsenal were 5th, moving up 3 spots with the influx of 150 mil last summer. I don't know what they're doing this year, but Spurs, I think, are going to be in that mix because, again, Chelsea, Spurs, Arsenal, West Ham, obviously Everton with how they were battling last season. We can't really count them. Leicester City. I just think that there's such a mix, such a tight pool of teams that are going to be, I didn't even mention United, but there's such a pool of teams that are going to be battling within that. I think he's kind of secured, I think based on what I'm seeing, he's secured top 4.
Top 4, yeah.
And all he needs to do is deliver a cup. I don't think he's, and again, viewers, I'm not trying to be arrogant here. I don't think the Spurs are going to be league-wise challenging Manchester City or Liverpool. League-wise, I don't think so.
But that's the problem, Vader. They have a manager who demands that.
I think he used to demand it. I don't think he's going to demand it anymore.
Well,
Because
you look at Chelsea. I mean, ask Patrick. When he won the league at Chelsea, and didn't he win it by a record number of points or something?
Yeah, he
Record
did.
wins or
He
record
did.
points. And then the season after, they sort of curtailed a bit, and they didn't get the signings he wanted. And I think they dropped down in the table. And he went.
To 8th, isn't it? Yeah, to 8th, yeah.
Yeah, and he went. Because you got to remember, Conte is a top manager. And I was quite surprised. The reason United didn't go for him, apparently, according to Gary Neville, was because he's short term.
well,
Because
and he's too honest of a manager. They didn't want more of their poor club management to be exposed, like Jose did.
Yeah, and you know what he said at Spurs? I don't like losing. I don't like losers. At the end of the season, we're going to talk because I don't want my name to be put with losing. So Martin is right. The guy has won. He went to Inter and dislocked Juventus. You know what I mean? He came to England, won why people did not expect much. So I feel like he's going to do the business. I think he would demand from those players that, okay, I want to win. I think he's going to win something. He would demand of them. All I'm hoping is, as I said, when a team has got new players, they have to gel. All I'm hoping is it doesn't gel because he is a winner and he will continue. He will push them over the limit. But I think that Spurs mentality is in their backbone because those are the same players that always flop at the end and bottle it. So if he manages to take it out of them, I think this will be Conte's biggest achievement. I think it will be any coach's biggest achievement to get that bottle mentality out of Spurs.
And this is why Levy got Jose out of there before they had a chance to win their first cup, because he didn't want this. He didn't want that achievement to be associated with Jose. Jose was, I think, would have carried that too much, and I think that's why.
I'm not too sure, Vader. I'm sure that was because he had to pay him a truckload of money if he won him a trophy, didn't he?
Oh, the bonus clause if Jose had won a trophy?
You got this. This is where I'm coming, Levy. Levy might be undoing the purse strings now. It might be a one-off.
That's wild. That's wild.
Which won't be doing for Conte.
I know you didn't see this. I know you didn't see this comment earlier, but I'll mention it. Blake's football meet. He goes, Conte knows inside that he can't battle with City and Liverpool with this Tottenham side. I agree with you, Blake. I think Conte is going to put his sights on those two early cups, bring something to Spurs that they haven't had. Spurs fans are parched. They've been in the desert, haven't had water for weeks. There hasn't been a meal around. They are starving, thirsty. They get any of those two things, they're happy and content. So I think that's what we got to deal with over there.
If the Spurs fans find you, you just say that they're starving.
They're starving. Again, I know in terms of timing, guys, this is actually 8:00 out there UK time. So no pressure if you have to bounce. I appreciate you guys being so supportive, being on the channel. If there's anything, even prior, interrupt me. If there's something you guys want to say, plug your channel before you have to go, please feel free to do so.
Unfortunately, I'm about to leave you, Veta. I pushed the show to 8:30, so I'm about to leave you now. So it's 24 minutes past 8.
Okay.
I think you'll find me there. Well, if you're done, maybe you might find me. I don't want to take long, but anyway, I can't wait. I'm about to also do a feature with Martin. I think me and Martin were speaking. Because me and Martin haven't done any video yet, but we'll organize that, Martin. So anyway, thank you, Veda. It's a pleasure, Martin. It's a pleasure always. They're lovely to have you two guys. Love you guys. Yeah, respect to all of you guys. Anyway, guys, bye. I will see you later.
Take care, Patrick.
Yeah, take care.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
All right, let me do this real quick. The other topic that I had on screen is Chelsea and United window shopping in this transfer window right now. Zarif, I'm actually using StreamYard, so in the future it'd be be great if you happen to have a camera or quality mic. Maybe you can join the show as well. What Chelsea and United seem to just be looking not ready to take out the checkbook. So many rumors with regards to who they want and who they're targeting. It's such a huge mess. And even talking earlier when we mentioned Sterling possibly going to Chelsea and even Nathan Ake, but I've seen Neymar, CR7, Dembele, Frankie de Jong, Sterling, Nathan I mentioned, Rafinha, Koundé, the Lit. Ericsson, I think, is confirmed at United now. Martinez, and I believe Tyrell is also confirmed. I think, yeah, Tyrell is confirmed. Malaysia is confirmed at United. But for two big clubs that usually splash big in the transfer window, it's interesting with how they're moving compared to some of their competitors. Obviously, Chelsea, new ownership, trying to figure things out. United, worst season in their history, as they would tell us. But they're trying to sort things with Eric Ten Hag. But if they don't make moves soon, I think there's going to be a serious uproar from the fan base, because the fan base aren't accustomed to them moving like this. So that's going to be something that I'm going to keep my eye on. How closely are you looking at the Chelsea and United moves, Martin?
The United moves, I'm just sat back laughing. It's. I mean, this is no disrespect to the fella. You know, I'm so happy he's playing football again. I'm so happy he's got through his problems and he's playing. But is that United's level now? Are they competing with Brentford for a player? Is Christian Eriksen their star side? Do you know, it sounds mad. They are persistently going for a midfielder who was publicly said 3 times, I don't want to come.
Yeah. Sorry, Martin. Share that point for just a minute. I'll be right back. 1 second.
Yeah. So, I'm flying solo. So, for me, ladies and gentlemen, how the mighty have fallen. It's quite funny to see, actually. It's quite enjoyable from a Manchester City point of view to sit and listen to United fans bitch and moan about Christian Eriksen and Frankie de Jong, who doesn't want, Frankie wants to go to Hollywood. Frankie doesn't want to go to the old scaffolds. And then you have Martinez, who, I'll be honest, I don't know a lot about him, and the other defender, I don't know a lot about him. And Chelsea, I think they're doing it a little bit backwards at the moment for me. Chelsea need to bring in, I mean, I'll come to this, Vader's back.
Yeah.
I was flying solo there, mate. I'm just saying, United have brought in 2 defenders. I'll be honest with you, I haven't really heard of them because I don't sit watching Ajax week in, week out. Ten Hag's gone back to what he knows, clearly, which is fine as a manager. I'm very surprised Ajax didn't have a clause in. If you remember when Guardiola came to City, there was a clause where we couldn't go to Bayern Munich for a year or 2 to get any players. I'm very surprised Ajax didn't put anything in to say, don't come and, basically loot their club of their players.
The reason why I think they didn't have that in the mix is because, no disrespect, but I think Ajax to a certain nature do feed other clubs. Versus Bayern being the Bayern pulling from all the other clubs. So I think it is a miss. They definitely should have protected themselves, but at the same time, United's known to spend a good penny. So Ajax may have looked to increase the bank account a little bit. I don't know, but
can I throw you a question, mate? I'm sorry. When Ten Hag got announced, the one thing I said to a lot of people, said it on the channel to a lot of other people as well, is problem is with Eric Ten Hag, everyone talked about him and raved about being a great manager, and he may turn out to be United's saviour. Not saying he won't be.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a manager who has had the luxury of an Ajax world-class, world-renowned academy to bring their players through and everything else. He's never gone and spent any money, really. He's never really gone and had the keys to a war chest. He's at United where he's been given some money. And I said he's going to show a little bit of naivety in the market because he's not used to dealing in the market on a full-time basis. He's dealing with selling players out on the market, not bringing them in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think he's finding that now. I mean, the problem is they've got what United. A lot of my friends are United fans, and they'll say to me, "This De Jong transfer is dragging on and dragging on and dragging on." They're doing exactly what we did with Harry Kane. 12 months ago, we spent the whole summer flirting in and out with Harry Kane when it was probably obvious 3 weeks in from the transfer window that we were never getting Harry Kane.
Yeah.
Now, De Jong may come off. They've now spent 2 months fluttering their eyelashes that Frankie De Jong, who clearly is going there, gagged, tied up, railroaded everything into it. It is another, if anyone remembers this, Angel Di Maria. Angel Di Maria got forced to United, and De Jong has been forced to United. And they are bringing in a player who does not want to be there, doesn't really want to play for the badge. I know he'll come out at his press conference to say, "I love United, been a United fan all my life, blah, blah, blah," give out the correct PR, but he's been handcuffed and gagged all the way down the Stretford end to get onto a pitch.
Another thing that doesn't help them too is they don't make it a point to quiet the transfer talk or the rumors. Like it's either things are in so-and-so's camp, nothing's moving forward, as opposed to every day something gets mentioned. And I think they're doing themselves a disservice because the expectations on Frankie are going to be high. The fact that it's dragged on so long, there's going to be an unneeded emphasis for him to be intricate or integral to their new system and plan. So it's way too much. And I've already seen the frustration on Manchester United fans because, again, I do have a lot of friends in my circle that are United fans, and they're like, just get this over with already. And then there's the games that are being played financially with Barcelona. So I don't think that story is ending anytime soon.
And Ronaldo wants out.
Yes, Ronaldo wanting out. Ooh, and okay, I do have that as one of the topics on the screen. So I'll actually jump to that before I get into the Klopp and Salah conversation. So let me put that on screen. Let me say this, and let me do this transition too. I had to, and you may not be seeing this, but I titled this CR7 at 37 isn't your 37 or 20 or 27. Oh, let's be honest. He's in incredible shape. 1 second. Sorry, viewers. 1 sec. There you go. Check the mirror before you go outside. Check your. Sorry, apologies, baby girl. Needed some help. CR7 at 37 wanting out of Manchester United should not be of any surprise to anyone. Even United fans need to know that this should not be a surprise. You're in the conference. No, you're in Europa. You're in Europa. Or is it the Europa Conference? I don't even know. But
I think they're in the Europa.
They're in the Europa. Okay.
Yeah.
United are not playing Champions League football. So don't be surprised that CR7, a player that has always made moves to play in the biggest and brightest and toughest competitions is not going to want to remain at United. Like, that should not be surprising at all. And the fact should never be lost on anyone. I'm sure Martin is obviously clearly aware of this. The fact that he's 37 years old, he doesn't have a year to waste to get the club back into prominence or get the club back into playing in top competitions. Every year matters. He's seen global stars in their late 30s, like the Tom Brady's and the LeBron James, and I believe even Federer and Nadal are up there in age. Like, he's seen some of these greats that are up there, and he's like, I don't have time to waste. I need to go and compete. And again, CR7 has an ego like many players, and there's a selfishness that needs to be inherent in competitors for them when they're driving to get these records and goals, because you have to have a one-track mind. Everything is about whatever, whether it's a legacy, whether it's a consistency, whatever it may be. And we know that Cristiano Ronaldo wants to continue to add to that Champions League goal record. So that's why he wants out. It's not a lack of love for United, whether he has love for United or not. It's an over geared mentality to just compete at that level. So all these feelings that United fans are catching because they're like, oh, he's just abandoning us, or he's leaving, or da. He was never there for that. He was there to play at a high level, whether the team could match it or not. It was up for the team to match, and the team's not matching it, so he's out of there. Where he goes, just know that it's going to be Champions League football. The rumors about Chelsea, I don't know. The rumors about Bayern Munich, I don't know. I'm also hearing rumors about Napoli. I don't know. Rumors about Sporting, possibly, all playing Champions League football. But guys, come on. This hurt feeling stuff over at United fans, like he's burned you twice or whatever.
Do you know what it is, Vega?
What? Yeah,
human nature. As human beings, we are programmed to not like change. Change is the biggest thing in a human being. That is the hardest thing to accept in any walk of life.
Yeah.
In any form of life or anything, people don't like change. You just said it yourself, Rafael Nadal, and Djokovic and all these other tremendous sports people. We find it hard to let go because it's not what we've been conditioned to see. So United fans in their head are conditioned that number 7 shirt is Ronaldo's, and he was their saviour. He was coming back. He was coming to take them back to glory. He was coming back to... And I was talking to a United friend of mine who doesn't have people within the club, but he does hear little tidbits.
Mm-hmm.
And he said to me, United went for Ronaldo for one reason. Because we went after him. The United board, around about January, February, were already negotiating Ronaldo's exit out. They didn't really want him there because he didn't, for a start off, the wages they're on is astronomical.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't like the fact he had a lot to say in the dressing room, apparently. Now, I don't know. I'm only told this by a friend of mine who been a season to go to United for a very, very long time. And here's a few things here and there. Now, for we got to remember, Ronaldo was generally playing what they call the graveyard shift at United, stand in the middle and get on the end of goals. He was never going to run around like a spring chicken. He's 37 years old. I don't care how much of a exquisite, whatever six-pack body he's got and at his age, that's tremendous. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean you can run up and down a football pitch for 90 odd minutes, week in, week out. Because, and not only that, he's also gone through one hell of a torturous time personally.
Yeah.
For what he's been through, I wouldn't wish upon my worst enemy.
Yeah.
I really wouldn't. And there's a lot of love and condolences over to Ronaldo. But this was always on the cards. It was always on the cards. The minute they hit 6 or 7, they were never going to keep him.
Never.
Well, why would they? You know, Lionel Messi left Barcelona. Ronaldo leaving United shouldn't be a big shock to everyone. It was always going to happen, because is he going to sit there playing with Fred and McTominay forever?
Yeah, and another thing is, which I didn't agree with, is how are you putting the lack of success at United as him being one of the key causes? Like, if you want to argue whether he's a perfect fit or not, that's one thing. If you want to critique what he provides as a player, okay. But the quality of him as a player, even at 37, is not the reason for why United is so bad. Like, you go player to player, and that's actually how you can identify what the issues are. They went between two managers, right? Ollie and Ragnick in terms of interim. Those are the reason why United had their problems, not because of CR7. It's crazy.
Well, it's the Glazers. Apparently, it's the Glazers. I don't even think it's the Glazers, because yes, the Glazers take dividends out and they take money and they cream off the top. I get all that, but at the end of the day, look at how much money United have spent under the Glazer regime. So when any United fan turns to me and goes, the Glazers don't put money in United, I just slap down their transfer dealings.
Yeah, that perspective is wild. It's absolutely wild.
It is madness to say that their managers don't. Have they always been backed? No, because Mourinho went in, because Mourinho came out and said, I gave him a transfer list of 5 players and I didn't get any of them. Well, boo-hoo, cry me a river.
Right.
You still had hundreds of millions to spend.
Exactly.
This is the biggest fallacy in, not football, of the world, that the Glazers don't spend money.
It is a false narrative. I'm in 100% agreement, because they do spend money. Now, if you want to criticize the Glazers for who they hire to properly identify where the money should be spent, okay, that's different. But don't say that they do not support the club with money. And the fact that the club makes so much money, they can skim a little bit off the top and still support the club at a strong enough level to compete. That's totally.
Another thing, Baker, is they need to stop living on past glories.
That's not going to change, Martin. No,
I understand that. I listen. Trust me now. I know that will never change. But they think they still rule football. They still rule England. They've got this divine right. I mean, like we all heard last year, United was 7th and it was a crisis. They wouldn't know what crisis was if it had it in front of them in a dictionary. They haven't got a clue what a crisis is.
I agree.
7th is not a crisis.
Hardship in that fan base, they have not experienced it. For them to, and the joke is, which I bit my tongue every time I heard them say, United finishing 6th, the worst season ever. I'm like, what? Your fans are irate and losing their minds because of this past season? Like, come on, you guys aren't built for survival. Then you're not built to be dropped off in the wilderness with only a Swiss Army knife. Like, you're not. They're
very similar to Real Madrid. Look at Real Madrid fans. They're very similar in that they think they have a God's given right to sign who they want, when they want, and play where they want, and be where they want.
Good point.
Again, because in their mind, human nature, change is unconditional and they can't deal with it. They don't like it. And the biggest change they don't like is we're at the top. That is, I always go back to Ferguson. Never in my lifetime. Never in my lifetime City will be top dogs. Sorry, 10 years, 12 years on, that's looking a bit stupid right now, isn't it?
And you know what's another quote that I love from Sir Alex Ferguson is when he said, no team would ever win the domestic trouble.
Exactly.
I love that. I love that. Let me
and you don't hear from him now. He shuts up a lot.
Yeah, he needs to because he can't put out any more quotes because we're just going to erase them. Let me hit this transition real quick and hit the next topic. Okay, so the last two topics are probably going to bleed into each other, and I was away, so I didn't really get a comment as much as I wanted to. There were some fantastic Twitter Spaces during the time as well. The conversation with regards to transfers and who's acquired who. Obviously, we had the big news with Holland, and subtle, quiet news, but Alvarez is just as important for us at Manchester City. But there was that big news, and obviously, as a kind of counter or release post Holland, Liverpool had their Nunez announcement with him, Darwin Nunez, going to Manchester City. Lot more spend in terms of transfer costs, and apparently he deserves the same amount of hype in terms of projected success. So we'll leave it as it is. We know what Liverpool is. But the same way Pep now only has two remaining players as it stands right now, Sterling and Kevin De Bruyne, in terms of players that were here before Pep came in. So it's almost him having a completely new team. Klopp now is in his phase two, right? We've seen Sadio Mane leave. The year before, we saw Wijnaldum. I kill his name. But he's left. And there was the chance of Salah leaving, but Salah's obviously signed on. But this Liverpool Klopp phase two, I think, only happens the way it does because of the tremendous trust that Liverpool FSG have put into Klopp. And I'm not going to be, this isn't the stream for me to be disrespectful. It's not a tit for tat. It's not a we're better than you type conversation. But I do love the time of year that it is right now, because I feel like both teams are doing a refresh, retool. Here's a next, it's kind of like here's a next cycle to battle through, as opposed to arming up for next season. I feel like both clubs are kind of like setting themselves up for the next 3-4 years. And Liverpool allowing Mane to go, coming in with the Luis Diaz, Darwin Nunez, renewing Salah, letting Origi go, like some of the players that were key into their last 4 years. Liverpool's phase two is going to be interesting, and Pep's. I'm not ready to say Pep's phase two because he hasn't signed that extension yet, and I really hope that that's going to be some news that it's going to come through this summer. Because correct me if I'm wrong, Martin, but he's in his last year. 2023 is his last year, correct?
Yeah. Last 12 months.
Okay, yeah, the last 12 months. So that's news that all City fans are hoping to hear. But this Liverpool phase two is now in effect, and I think with Sadio Mane leaving and now Mohamed Salah getting this previous talked about can't break the wage structure, $350K a year, 3-year extension is the focal point to this phase two, because I believe both contracts now line up for when Klopp's deal expires. So he's here until 2026. So when you heard the Salah news, did you have any reaction, positive, negative? Like, how did you deal with the news?
Liverpool's a funny one. I look at Liverpool and I see them weaker right now.
You see the team weaker than the last team that challenged?
But a simple fact is, I think their transfer business is done. I think Darwin Nunez and this contract extension, because let's be honest, I think it works out something silly like 80 million quid over 3 years, 4 years, whatever it is, for Salah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you know, that is a lot of bang for your buck, as they would say over in your neck of the woods, mate. That's a lot of That's a lot of cheese on top of your waffle. And the
Yeah.
simple fact is, they've had to sacrifice Mane, who was, yes, we probably had to sacrifice a Gabby and a Sterling to get Haaland and the other boys in. Won't say Alvarez, because Alvarez was what, 14 million. So that's it's going to sound so arrogant, this, but that's neither here nor there. But in terms of, we've had to sell one or two of the big boys to get like a Calvin Phillips in, eventually a Cucurella in, and a Haaland in. Liverpool have had to sell Mane to get Salah on the wages that he wants. They brought in Darwin Núñez for what only I can even suggest is astronomical money and stupid money and absolute ludicrous amount of money, considering what they've said to us in the past. To say a gamble, it is a massive gamble what they paid.
Yeah.
But he may work out. Liverpool haven't signed anyone else. There's no one in the midfield. They desperately needed a midfielder.
Yeah.
For me, desperately. And Salah, as we saw for the last 3 months of the season, whether it was because of his contract negotiation or what, can go missing. And then Mane picked up the slack. Mane isn't there to pick up that slack anymore. Salah will not be the focal point anymore because you're going to have your Darwin Núñez. So Salah going back to the wing. So as much as we're saying we may have to change our style of play, are Liverpool going to have to change? Is Salah going to go back to being more of a direct winger to play in your Darwin Núñez? Because Darwin Núñez is not going to play anywhere else other than a solid 9, the same way Haaland is going to play a solid 9 for us.
Yeah.
You can't rotate a Núñez or a Haaland.
Yeah.
You can't say, stick them on the wing. They're the
Right.
focal point of your 9s. So both teams changing the style of play to try and figure each other out or figure the league out. I don't know. It's very intriguing, but for me, Liverpool, they've re-signed Milner. They've got. I probably think the other guy, what's his name again? Got out my head. Who they bought in January?
Núñez? No, sorry, Diaz. Luis Diaz. Yeah.
I think that was brought 6 months earlier because Tottenham showed an interest, and I think they thought. I think he was going to be done this summer, but I think they thought we'll do it in January because Tottenham went sniffing. Yeah. So, in essence, I think they're done. I think they are done, and I look at them and I think they've not got enough. And let's be honest, once FSG have whacked out that 80 million contract, the 100 million virtually for Núñez, I think FSG won't stick out a lot more money after that.
That's where I'm in agreement with you in terms of like how FSG has kind of moved and the fact that they have spent so big for Núñez and obviously this contract breaking the wage structure or whatever with Salah. I do think that they're kind of reaching that cap of what they want to spend. So it'd be interesting to see. Again, there's still September 1 before the window closes on what they do. But I agree with you. As it stands right now, I do think that they're weaker. The player that was always what I fretted the most when it was a game against Liverpool was always Sadio Mane. Because I remember FA Cup battles early when Fernandinho and Salah, holding each other's necks and fighting and those type of battles. He was always the player.
Ederson and Mane.
Yeah, and exactly. It was always that type of not knowing what Mane is going to do and his creative and just his fierce battle. It was what had me most worried. So because again, it's kind of like, I know what I'm getting from Salah. And I know what to expect over there. Mane was so unsuspecting, and even the way he hurt us this past season, didn't even have to put an eye on net and hurt us in the FA Cup.
Yeah, absolutely destroyed us at Wembley.
Yeah,
destroyed us, and signed Zach Steffen's exit papers out the door.
He did make that he did make that tough for Zach. Now, at this point, agree. They're weakened. Now, future conversation on a future show, viewers. And again, if you're new, hit that follow button. If you've been on this channel before, please definitely check out the Mancunian Way. Check out True City Fan. Check out Pitch Points. Support those channels as well. Subscribe to them. But if you've returned to this channel, you've been here before, please share it. Share it amongst your group chat. Share it amongst your friends. That will obviously lead to more of an exposure with regards to the channel. It's always appreciated. So please do that.
Mate, sorry, go on, mate. I just wanted to throw something. It doesn't have to be answered now. We can do it in a future show, or it's just anyone listening and in the comments. I just want to throw something out to people because I've been racking my brain with this for the last week, and it is going back to City. So I do apologise if I'm
it's all good. It's all good.
Going back in history here. We've had discussions, and it's all online in spaces about City selling. Or at the moment, trying to win the next Ben trophy. Now, I had a look at the squad, like I said, and I thought, you look at the squad right now and you think, great. But then look next summer. Kyle Walker's 33, going on to 34. Mahrez is 32, going to 33. Gundogan will be gone. KDB will be 31, 32, something daft like that.
Mm-hmm.
There is going to be a refresh again next summer for City. And if you watch it the way City do things, we don't go out. I know what public belief believes. We go out and we spend this huge amount of money year in, year out, which we don't. We generally bring in a sprinkling of one, maybe two players just to top the squad up.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 2017 under Pep, when we brought in Edison and another guy who I won't mention for obvious reasons, and everyone else. We spent that 250 million. We're now in that process again of doing a refresh. This refresh will take 2 seasons. So if any fans are listening, I really wouldn't worry about, they're all going out. I know I've done it. But when you sit back and you think and you look at it in the cold light of day, this is being done over 2 summers to refresh this squad. And next season, don't be surprised if they go for a Bellingham or someone big to replace whoever else that will go out the door. Because personally, I think Bernardo will leave next summer. I think this summer they'll say to him, give us 1 more year, and next year we will let you go with our blessings.
Mm-hmm.
Because we all know he does want out. Not because he's against the club, because he wants to start a family and go back to sunnier climates. Fair play. But I think he'll give us 1 more year, and then next year we'll go, thank you very much. Off you go.
Yeah.
And that is where I see it. And it's something maybe we can discuss in the future or whatever, but I just think don't worry about it at the minute, because I think there's a long-term plan behind this.
I hear that. No, I'm in agreement with that. And it would be a great future show conversation to even speculate on how that refresh or how that exit of some players and identification of some key targets to come in would play out. No, that's actually perfect. I actually wanted to also say this when it comes to this transfer window and the teams, and this is just my point of view. I get it when we're in the spaces and when we're having the conversations and we're doing comparisons against teams or even players, where I'm doing my best to kind of control myself and not fight back so much.
I'm sorry for laughing, but I know exactly where you're going, because I'm generally in a lot of these spaces with you. That's why I know.
Yeah, it's and apologies for the phone in the background. It's the fighting back to always let other people know on how to properly see the players or see the team. I'm doing my best to kind of control that. I'm also doing my best to talk amongst my fans, my City fans, like the City fans family, that we can criticize our players without bashing our players. It triggers me sometimes, because I'm like, we can point out And again, I don't. I know I'm revisiting this a little bit, and it's in light of kind of like the exits from Jesus and Sterling. But I saw so much of a negative see you later, negative comparison of Sterling rumored to leave and looks like he's leaving to Chelsea versus a dismissal of and goodbye to Jesus. And again, both players have had their faults, but I would prefer if our fans, and I get it, I'm not trying to control fans. I'm just saying the same way fans are able to not hold some of the misses, poor plays, bad decisions that Jesus has had over the years, and wish him the best, is how I would hope when the time comes for Sterling to do the same and move on, for our fan base to do. That's really just my kind of like public service announcement with regards to
There's a
player
reason
exit.
behind that, though, mate. There's a reason.
You have
Because
to tell me. You have to tell me the reason.
Gabby finished the season on a high.
So did Sterling. Sterling started our comeback.
But that's not how the fans view it. If you look at Sterling, I know exactly what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying, because I mean I've done it. Because the one thing the one thing you got to remember for a lot of City fans, and I'm not trying to stick up for any City fans there, I'm just saying, is we're not used to players leaving at the moment.
Okay.
You got to remember, we're not used to. Oh, sorry, no. Let me rephrase that. We're not used to the big boys leaving.
Yeah.
We're used to EDS and fringe players going out the door. But in the last 2 years, we've lost Sane, Torres, Sterling, Gabby.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, we were losing, like, no offense here, but like your Lavias and your
Yeah.
Egan Rileys.
Yeah.
And you were thinking, oh, well, good luck to them. See you later. And City fans always had this in their head of, if a young player or a player goes on loan, that's it. They're done. They're finished. You never see them again at Manchester City.
Okay.
What we have to do, and Sterling, this has all come from the media as well with Sterling, because I fell for it. I used to be one of Sterling's biggest critics until talking with Rob and other people on the channel. I sat back and I went, you know what? And I started listening to what they said. And I thought, they're spot on with what they're saying. Because every fan looks at Sterling in a reactionary way. But everyone's forgotten about the amount of... Because trust me now, being in the ground,
Mm-hmm.
Gabby got so much stick for being offside 3,000 times in a game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Gabby, we used to joke, was born offside.
You know what? His first goal for City, he celebrated, but he was actually offside.
Exactly. But that's the joke. He was born offside. Yeah. But because he did well against Liverpool in the 2 games, and he did well against Real Madrid in the 2 games, and he scored the 4 goals against Watford, keep him. He's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And nobody looked at the cold, hard fact that when we needed a number 9, Pep went, sorry, Gabby, there's the bench. I'm going to play I know I'm exaggerating here, but a left back as number 9. Mm-hmm. He'd rather play anybody but Gabby as number 9. Mm-hmm. That told you all you needed to know.
Yeah.
About Gabby.
Yeah. And it's that perspective, Martin, on I think why we get along so well too when we're having these combos, because again, I don't want to have sometimes in the spaces, or even, sometimes in the comment threads or whatever, I don't want to go back and forth and being like, well, you noticing this for Sterling, but you're not noticing this, and I don't want to throw another player under the bus, so I leave it alone. But I hope when the time comes, and again, you saw it, we saw it, that comeback that now legendary and sparked everything off, started with Sterling subbed onto the pitch and contributing to the infamous 5-minute 3-goal comeback that we needed to succeed and win this league, causing Liverpool to be fantastic challengers for the second time. But we're going to definitely talk about that again. Viewers, thank you so much for being on the channel. I always have to sign off the show fan requested and I love it now. It's the shoe cam that I have to share with you guys. I hope you like this week's edition. It is, oh, my background is terrible. Let me try to fix that real quick. Yeah, that's a little bit better. But it's the shoe cam requested by the fans. Hopefully you guys are able to pinpoint what these are. And if you do, hit me up in the comments. And I definitely interact with every and each of you. Let me put this on screen. So if you can see these, let me give you a look. Those are going to be tough. I am often, viewers, I do my best to limit the amount of red in my shoes because of the type of Manchester City fan I am. But I love those nonetheless. Let me know in the comments if you happen to know what those are. For all my sneakerheads out there, Martin, I want to thank you so much. First call in that I was able to have with you on there, and I'm actually in development for a show that I think you would be amazing on. So I'm going to work out those details and hit you up in the very near future. But I want to thank you for joining me today.
No, thank you very much. And yeah, if you enjoyed my my opinions, you can catch us over at the Mancunian Way on YouTube. We have taken a little break for the last couple of months, mainly because, I'll be honest, my parents are very ill and I've been looking after them. So yeah, but we will be back very, very soon. No, it's fine. It's just I'd rather be honest to people. So yeah, that's why I've had a little break. So, but we will be back before the new season. And yeah, I'd love to see you all. But thank you. But big up this guy. Great show. Great channel. Please go and give him a subscribe. Just, fellow Blue. Doesn't matter if he's in Manchester, Canada, or the moon. All Blue should be heard. And I'm telling you now, this man knows his stuff. Go and give him a like, a listen, and share it around.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. Viewers, again, Vader Games TV. I'm Vader Games, obviously, and this was another episode of Why Always Me. I'm not trying to rhyme, but I happen to do it this time. Check me out next time. And again, support the Mancunian Way on that channel, Pitch Points, as well as True City Fan. I'm Vader Games, and I am out. Thank you.